And this is, we said a voltaic cell, spontaneous cell reaction does work on the surroundings. We said that when we saw that word, we should think battery, right? And it was a one-way trip until it runs down. Okay. When we see the word electrolytic cell, we said, well, we should think rechargeable battery because it is also possible to put energy into it and build it back up. So in general, it's possible to make a rechargeable out of anything. However, you have to pay careful attention to whether things create any gases, whether they heat up and their liquids expand. There are various difficulties with making everything rechargeable. And this is why when you see your normal batteries, the alkalins, they always tell you to not recharge them. It's a little bit of an iffy business trying to recharge them. You would have to do it extremely slowly so that you didn't make them rupture, and then that would just be totally no good. So when it comes to doing rechargeables, it is very likely that you are given a particular charging unit to use, because then it will meter how quickly it's trying to recharge the battery so that you don't violate any of these problems of heat or expansion. Here is something that is near and dear to most people's hearts when they have cars. The traditional lead acid battery, that big heavy thing, but it starts the car. It supplies 12 volt because of the way it is put together, has multiple cells in it, so that when you add them together, you have 12 volts, and you can have it set up so that the switch flips from one way to the other. It will either be discharging to make the starter go and start the whole car, or it will be over here where it is being recharged, because the car engine then will supply the energy to the alternator and recharge the lead acid battery. So you can see when you have this, from this side, the energy is flowing out through the load, starts the car. Then the switch flips, and it's like, okay, well, then we can send the electrons the other direction and recharge the battery. And it leads us to one more problem to work out. It says that the car's starter motor is going to use 225 amperes of current for 3.5 seconds. Amperes and seconds. Well, that means that I can find out how many coulombs were involved simply by multiplying the amps times the number of seconds, 3.5 seconds. That means that I am working with 787.5 coulombs. All right, that's great. What do it says the mass of lead, I want a mass of lead. Okay, so I really want moles of lead, and then I can get to mass. And they're saying it's oxidized in the battery. So I have to go up here and look at what's going on. Here's some lead, and it's becoming lead sulfate. Oh, well, sulfate's a -2, so this lead is a +2. Oh yeah, two. All right, so every time I use one lead, it's going to be 2 electrons. So I can say that 1 mole of lead is going to be involved with 2 moles of electrons. Okay, that's good. I needed that. The other thing I need, oh yes, of course, Faraday's number, right? So if my question is how many moles of lead, then I'm going to start with the coulombs, which is inherently electrons, right? And then I'm going to say I need to use Faraday's number upside down, so that, what do I have? A mole of electrons is 9.65 times 10 to the 4th coulombs. That will cancel the coulombs, but I'm actually interested in the moles of lead, not the moles of electrons. So 1 mole of lead from 2 moles of electrons. Moles of electrons is gone. Go ahead and calculate that out, and you're going to get 4.08 times 10 to the negative third. That's a lousy looking 8. Now it just looks really weird. Okay, moles of lead. But they asked for grams. They asked for mass. So I'll go ahead and say grams of lead equals the 4.08 times 10 to the negative third moles of lead times its molar mass, which is 207.2 grams per mole. And we will end up with 0.845 grams of lead. Now, if we look back at this, we figure, oh, it's only 3.5 seconds. I guess I probably should round this to 0.85 grams of lead to get with the 2 sig figs. So that's almost a gram of lead in only 3.5 seconds. There's a lot going on with that sort of a situation. And that's the end of this chapter.